us a song. You're the piano man, running pick sixes back from Mahomes. You're from the great state of Iowa, where pork tenderloins are sold. Hi, everybody. I didn't know if you heard, but Cooper DeJean's pump-up song before a game is The Piano Man by Billy Joel. And if I'm being honest, two other songs that are just corny crap. So I'm glad it helps him. I'm glad it helps you. And I'm here to talk about Kevin Patullo because I don't know what happened, but yesterday we're sitting here talking very joyous. I'm still celebrating the Super Bowl. Then the announcement that we all is expected to happen was pretty much telegraphed to us that if Kellen Moore goes to the Saints, that Kevin Patullo was more than likely going to become the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. And suddenly that caused a little ruckus. There was some like, oh man, I can't believe we're doing this. There's, of course, the Brian Johnson 2.0, which you and me knew was coming anyway if that was happening. And it's funny that we have that reaction when we just explained and went through that Jalen Hurts has had, what are we up to? 12 coordinators since college, high school, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's 11 or 10, whatever it is. He has succeeded no matter who his offensive coordinator was. And the only year that it didn't happen was in 2023. And it wasn't because of Brian Johnson. And yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen. Absolutely. The reason why there was too many cooks in the kitchen, everybody felt like shit, is because Sean Desai, Matt Patricia, like we realize all this now, right? Vic Fangio was supposed to be there in 2023. And if Vic Fangio was here in 2023, Brian Johnson would still have his job right now. Yeah. That is it. That is it. Jalen Hurts basically played about the same. It was much worse because, there was no cohesion with the passing game whatsoever. And you were yelling at Brian Johnson during the game. I know you were. And maybe you came around in November and January and realized that there was a lot of stuff going on. Brian Johnson's doing fine, even though he's not the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. He still plays a pretty significant role over there. There is enough history with Cliff Kingsbury to recognize that he probably had some help from Brian Johnson this year because of his experience with Jalen Hurts since fucking forever. Honestly, the most important position right now for Jalen and everybody else is a QB coach that's creative and doesn't give a shit, isn't afraid to voice his opinion, to push the quarterback in a certain way, because that's what Jalen Hurts needs. He's said that to us multiple times. I like to be coached hard. The creativity needs to come from the QB coach. The coordination needs to come from Kevin Patullo, the guy that can keep everything consistent. You can pull the creativity from anywhere. So this is an okay situation. I'm not saying it's going to go great, but even if this is a leap year in OCs again, oh well. You won the Super Bowl. It's how it works. And I don't think that's going to happen. There's not going to be a big dip this time. You think this team is going to suddenly go, all right, we can take the year off? No way. I just got done explaining that Jalen Hurts is saving his energy, and I don't think he drinks alcohol in general anyway, but he's definitely not partying as hard as his teammates. The whole point of trying to do what the Chiefs just did is been explained by a couple of people over the last couple of weeks. You get exhausted. It's why it's never happened in the NFL. It's exhausting. We saw the Chiefs. That definitely played a part. It looked like they were just showing up to wave their hat and being like, oh, we finally made it to the Super Bowl. We can kind of tell ourselves we were the same as Joe Montana or whoever. But no, it didn't work out because you don't have the push. You don't have, you're doing the same things over and over again. And it's not like you're going to change that when you're winning, right? You're not going to change that. Andy Reid and Spags are who they are. Are they really drawing stuff up from Matt Nagy? And from this point on, are they really drawing stuff up from Bieniemy? No. Maybe they're taking some of those ideas, but they know how to coordinate them. And that, I think, is what they're trying to establish. And this is what I keep explaining is the beauty of how the Eagles are currently set up. And now that Nick Sirianni has had the ultimate success here and can keep playing the CEO role, he's not going to turn down those opinions, and he's going to give you a little more control as he trusts you. The same with Jalen Hurts. You have to earn that shit. Jalen is going to have tons of say in the offense moving forward. It's his offense. He's changing it at the line. More so than I think people gave him credit for in the past, and it certainly showed up during the playoffs, all throughout the playoffs. The reason why Saquon had so many awesome big runs is largely due to Jalen Hurts' brain and his legs, because everyone's paying attention to him. So, two things can't be true at the same time. He can't be the thermostat, and Kevin Patullo can't, turn that off. It's never happened in his career. It helps Nick Sirianni have the same guy over and over again because because they know the program that they're running. But you still have to draw ideas, and the legacy coaches never really do that. They teach others, and Andy Reid has done an incredible job of doing that. We all know his coaching dream, not even going to bore you with it, but Matt Nagy's right back there as an OC. I'm praying that happens. Can I tell you what I honestly want to happen is Kevin Patullo still stays with the club somehow. Like, they do a good job, but Shane Steichen is available, and he can just kind of come back into the OC role. That'd be nice. That'd be nice for a couple of years, and then maybe he gets a shot and maybe not, but that is pretty comfortable. I think everybody's comfortable there, and then the same thing. The QB coach becomes the most important thing for Jalen Hurts. Who's going to push him? That is how it's going to work from now on. This is Jalen Hurts' football team. It's also his offense, and Nick Sirianni has always believed in the PFP. Nick Sirianni's best asset is creating plays for the players that he has. He's voiced that a billion times. So he's going to take that from everything because one scheme does not fit every player. So the way that they kind of have their call sheet, or at least how I imagine it, is pretty much how we view Madden. I want to throw it to A.J. Brown. It's this down and distance. Here's my A.J. Brown plays. Or it's Devontae. Here's what I want there. You know, that's how you should think. And I believe that is hard to do, especially with the super team that Howie Roseman has created, because there's so many fucking good players. So many of them. In fact, and that's all I really wanted to say about the Patullo thing. Like, let's just see how this plays out with the QB coach. He's 33. Nick knows him. I forgot his name already. One of the smarter guys will have that. But speaking of how many amazing players and how many powerful players we've all been talking about, what are the Eagles going to do to try and re-sign all these key free agents? I talked about the Nielsen ratings yesterday. The announcement comes out that the cap indeed is going to go up about $20 million, and that'll probably repeat itself every single year. And I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being like 25 or 30 million in 2016, 2017, consecutively, and on and on. So that frees up a ton of more space. It also, because the Eagles' offensive power is so massive, and I don't mean this as disrespect because I'm just trying to look at this through Howie Roseman's eyes, and if you really are trying to build a dynasty, you have to make incredibly tough decisions, which I don't think they did a good job of in 2017 and 18. We talked about that yesterday a little bit too. Dallas Goedert's contract is right on the borderline of, do you really need him for $6 million worth of cap space that we could save? And could we get some draft equity here? Because that has been what has created this core of a team, and we can keep it young and fresh, and then maybe there could be a way to, give Zach Bond a very nice, handsome treat for the next 2 or 3 years. Maybe you still have to say goodbye to Milton Williams, but you have some draft capital. So I wonder this, is there anything like a fourth or a fifth that you think is worth giving away Dallas Goedert? And even then, it kind of gives me the willies. I'd rather just have him hang around for a year, because typically the Eagles will stack tight ends by tight ends. This is the last time that the Eagles won a Super Bowl is when Dallas Goedert was drafted. 2013, Ertz was drafted for Selleck's replacement, and then eventually 2 years later, they kind of switched and took over roles, and Selleck won a Super Bowl, and then Ertz moved on, and so on. So it's not like Calcaterra hasn't been here. Jalen Hurts and him have had a great relationship, and I would say he's partly responsible for him being here, obviously. So Goddard is nowhere close. I don't think they're comparable tight ends. Like, Calcaterra has amazing hands. He's a receiver. He's not a blocker, and Dallas Goedert is the all-around guy that we love and know. So it's a tough situation. I hope he sticks around, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a small trade in June or July with Dallas, and maybe it's player for player, but it gets $6 million off the cap, and like we've been talking about, it just means that, he's coming. Myles will be here. Myles will be here, and I'm actually going to leave some tweets down in the description from Brett, because I think he explains the Eagles cap situation beautifully, and he is on the same hunch that I am, is that the Eagles are going to extend Jalen Hurts maybe 2 or 3 more years just to get some dead void years in there to just keep kicking this thing down the river for, honestly, like the next 5 to 7 years. If we think about what the Eagles have done and what they're trying to do and what they always do, they restructure contracts, they pay bonus money up front, and Jeffrey Lurie sold a significant amount of equity to a new investor, a new owner in the team just recently to get $650 million to probably pay these bonuses up front, because it's working. Invest in the players now. Give them exactly what they want now. Make them happy. Make our cap numbers happy. You win, I win. Everybody's maneuverable. I can get out of situations. And even the closest thing to where Howie Roseman might have been like, oh, we got you. You can't get out of this Carson Wentz shit. Like, all of us were like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Swap bop, bing, bong, boom. I do remember that clip that was going around probably the last 10 days of Jason Kelsey's interview on New Heights from 2 years ago about Howie Roseman just being completely relentless about finding deals and making sure that everyone knows I'm available to do business. These are the positions that I need and want. I understand your cap situation. Like, can you imagine the way we look at football and what they have to do each week at practice and what Howie Roseman gets up and does every single day? I mean, it is probably like watching Brad Pitt during the trade deadline scene in Moneyball on steroids, and that's every single day. Eugene, get me give me the GM of the fucking Titans. I want to try AJ Brown. You know? Couldn't you see that? Except it's not Moneyball. It's pay up front and fuck you money. As Lawrence pointed out yesterday, which made me fucking laugh. Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, all have fuck you money now from their investors, from their owners, from everything. This, I can't tell you what a masterclass this is. I just can't tell you. From 2020 to now, absolute stunning. Because I never thought that this would have an opportunity again. I was so stupid. We were all drunk on the 18th Super Bowl. We really were. I don't know how the fuck that team made the playoffs next year. Thank God for the double doink. It's just incredible. Incredible. He can get out of everything, restructure everything, and make sure that this team is healthy and they can take chances. And that is why I think they're going to go back next year. I really do. Because you're going to keep continuing to find people in their prime to join guys in their prime. This isn't a bunch of old people. The number one destination in the NFL to be traded to will be the Philadelphia Eagles. Anybody that wants to be a mercenary one-year contract, they're coming to the Philadelphia Eagles. Listen, it doesn't promise you a Super Bowl. It just keeps promising you the best players to complement it. We didn't believe, even to our best extent, there might have been a few of you on the outer rings. There was no way we could have imagined Saquon Barkley changing this team the way he did just because he was available to pay. Fuck, man. Who is the? They're always going to find the person that made the biggest mistake that's in the corner and that they know they've got good players. A la the Cleveland Browns. Right now, there is no way anyone in the league can offer what the Eagles can offer the Browns and Myles Garrett at the same time. No one can match that. Their agents know it. I think when you saw the WIP guys yelling at the Super Bowl radio row, that was a good indication, a very good indication. So it's so funny. I'm talking about we need to enjoy the rest of the season, and I'm still going to, but I'm actually starting to get excited about what possibly could happen in the next 35 days or so. And we're not even talking about the draft yet, and I don't even care. Send me your favorite players, honestly. I'll take a look at them. But I don't think they're going to hold on to the 32 at all. I think we're going to be chilling out until the third round, y'all. So put your feet up, have another cocktail, and enjoy this weekend, would you? I'll be around. I'll be here. And thank you so much for listening to Bell and the Birdman. I'm John Barchard, and I'll see you very soon.